Hi, this is Joe again with Share My Coach. I know that we're ready to do a pickup for the motorhome right now. That's why you're watching this part of the video. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the little bit of paperwork that we have to get done before you take off in the coach. What we have is we have your rental agreement right here. And there's a couple of areas on here that we need to highlight for you, and we want you to follow along. So if you notice up here, up in the top right here, it's called additional terms. That is the back of the rental agreement. I need you to initial right there. So if I can get you to initial that, you're going to go ahead and initial there. That's excellent. Thank you very much. Now that's just saying that you're going to watch the orientation when you're out at the vehicle to make sure you understand how the electrical works in the coach, how the water system works in the coach. We want to make sure you understand how the leveling system works. We want to make sure that the TVs come on for you, and that you understand everything about the motorhome, because when you're on the road and you need help and you weren't paying attention when you were here, it's much more difficult to give you that information when you're on the road. So pay attention when you're here on the lot and picking up the coach and watching the video that you'll be able to access. And it'll give you all that information, and so what you're doing there is you're initialing that you're going to do that. The other place that we want to make sure you understand is your pickup and your drop-off dates. Right here we have that you're coming back on, today is the 10th, so you're picking up the motorhome today, and that you're going to be coming back on the 14th, and so there is a time that says 4 o'clock. If you come back later than that, you do need to give us a call. If you're going to be a day late, you really need to give us a call because of insurance purposes. We want to make sure that we protect you. If you are after 5 o'clock, you're going to be charged 1 hour. If you're after 7 o'clock, you might as well just keep it until the next day because you're going to be charged a full day. So be aware of those pickup and drop off times. With us, you can pick up early in the morning, usually around 8:30. And if you've already done the orientation and you've got your paperwork all in, then you'll be able to just pick up the coach, grab the keys, and you're on your way. Now, we have in here that the number of hours on the generator use. There's a meter, and when we go out to the coach, what we're going to do is we're actually going to write down a few things on the coach for the odometer reading. We're going to write that down. We're going to write down the hours on the generator. We're going to write that down, and we're going to write down where the fuel's at. And so this is what they call the checkout form right here. So when you come back, you don't have to clean the motorhome. You don't have to worry about putting propane back in the motorhome. The only thing we ask is please be polite to the motorhome, because it does belong to a nice family, and you are, yes, you're renting it, but you know, just be polite to them, and you know, don't leave dishes in the sink and obviously trash stuff. But we'll clean it, we'll sanitize it, because when you picked it up, we wanted to make sure it was nice and clean, nice and sanitized, and we'll do that when it comes back after you're done too. The fuel, make sure to put the fuel back where it's at. There is an additional charge if you don't put the fuel back where it's at. It's a $50 charge along with the cost of the fuel. So yeah, we'll mark it down and then make sure it's at the same place when you come back. When you go out to the coach, we're also going to write down any damage that's on the coach. And so what we want to do is make sure that you walk around the motorhome and you notate on the checkout form exactly any damage that you happen to see. And then when you come back, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to write down if there's anything new on there. And you know, I've always said that if you have an incident on the road, sometimes you don't even know it happened because these are big motorhomes. So we want to make sure that we had good photographs when you left, and then we'll check those photographs when you come back in. I believe most people are very honest and very fair. As long as you know you caused the damage, I'm sure you'll take care of it. But if you didn't know you caused the damage, then you're saying, hey, I didn't do that, and that's why we keep real good records before you leave. So walk around the motorhome and mark down anything that you see. We also, when we're walking around the motorhome and watching these orientation tapes, you're going to make sure that you understand about the power cables and adapters. These, all of the motorhomes are, you can connect them to electricity, you can plug them in, you can use the generator. And so we want to make sure all the power cables and adapters are there. We're also going to make sure that the water hoses are there and the sewer connections are there, and you know, that's something that you're going to actually be checking for when you go out there. We do supply toilet paper and chemicals with these motorhomes, so we want to make sure that that you understand that with the toilet paper, that's not regular toilet paper. That's toilet paper that you're going to use for RVs. It's specifically for RVs, and you'll watch in the video under that particular part that explains that You know, you probably don't want to flush too much toilet paper into these systems. They're very small holding tanks, and I always say they become like a stalagmite. You know, you'll have a little tree inside of those after 2 or 3 days. So we put trash cans in these. You know, use the trash can to throw the papers away. We're also going to make sure that it has all of the dishes and all the cookware and the coffee pot and the toaster. We do keep those items in the motorhome since these are privately owned coaches. They're kind of like a little bed and breakfast on wheels. It's not a Motel 6, if you will. And so we want to make sure that it has everything in it. So when you're going through the motorhome, make sure that it does have the coffee pot, make sure it does have a toaster. It's for your use, and we're also going to make sure that you understand the TV systems. Some of the motorhomes have satellite, and some of them just have regular aerial antennas. Now, because of the digital tuners that are in the motorhomes now, we want to make sure that you understand those. So there's a orientation on each one of these items that you can watch and view, and we recommend you do that. So we're going to make sure that you understand the TVs before you leave. We always say that there's only one reason you can't call us. When you're on the road, if you call us about TVs, we're not going to answer those questions because that meant you weren't paying attention here. So be sure you understand the TVs before you leave. We're also going to make sure that you understand the slide room operation. We're going to make sure that you understand how to level the coach. We're going to make sure you understand how to drive the coach. We're going to make sure you understand about fueling the coach back up. And so all of that's going to be done through the orientation, and then what we're going to do is have you check this sheet off and sign it at the bottom, and it's just saying that you understand it. So that's what we call the orientation. And so in the when you go out to the coach, you're going to do that, and we want you to watch the videos before you leave because that'll give you some really good feel for how these things operate, and it'll save you a lot of time when you come in. Now, back to the rental agreement, what we need to do is make sure that we get this thing properly filled out. And I need to make sure that we get a credit card imprint for your security deposit. If you provided insurance for us today, it's what's called an insurance binder form. And so this little insurance binder form right here is just saying that your auto insurance is going to cover you when you're in the motorhome. And there is some very specific information that's on here. It's your limits of liability. If we have this already in our possession, we've already verified it with the insurance company to make sure that you're covered. It's our minimum liability is $100,000, $300,000, and then $100,000 in property damage. And so we've already done that if we've received this. If not, we're contacting you to please get it from your insurance company. Now, what the credit card imprint is for, because you've already paid for the rental. If you're watching this video now, that means you've already rented the motorhome. You've already paid for the rental. What you haven't done is to give us a security deposit. And the security deposit is equal to whatever the deductible is for the damage. So your insurance company, usually $1,000 or $500 or $2,500, the insurance companies don't pay that first amount. So what we're going to do is we're going to get a credit card imprint on one of our slips. Now, we don't run that credit card imprint. What we're going to do is we're going to just get an imprint, and then we're going to hold this until you come back. And if you had no damage and you don't owe us fuel, or you haven't done anything that is a charge, we're just going to, we don't have to give you any money back because we never ran it. All we did is we hold it. I always say I don't want to arm wrestle you when you come back if there's an issue, so I've got the credit card imprint, but I also don't want to take the money out of the account either because maybe you need that when you're on the road. I say once again that most people are honest, you're fair, we'll be fair with you, but if you have an issue, we need you to take care of it when you come back. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and get on out to that motorhome, and I want you to walk around it. I want you to make sure that this little form is filled out. And you guys have a safe trip, and we'll look forward to seeing you guys when you come back.